All right, well, here we are back, and hopefully you've had enough time to read over your poem and try to see if you can figure out what it means. And you've done some writing in your workbook, and hopefully you've come up with your poet, your tone, and your speaker, and all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and check for understanding and just double check and make sure we all understand what's going on. So, why does the speaker mention so many family members in this poem? Well, remember, the speaker's talking about these are all memories, and you're also talking about things people family means a lot to folks, and when family is gone, and sometimes all we have left is our pictures, and for a lot of people, family is important, and they don't want to forget who they are. So the speaker sees family members in the old family photos that he or she is viewing, and they're enjoying those memories. Some of them are very silly because as we're going to get to in a second. So, who was responsible for taking most of the family photographs? And how do you know? Well, there's a little bit of a when it comes to this is that there's a lot of photos of a whole bunch of other people, but there's one person that's not in as many photos as others. And some of the pictures are also but let's go look at, okay, so how do you know? Well, the speaker's mother or mama took the pictures. This detail is discussed in line 3, where it says mama was never good at pictures. If we notice that the writing is in italics and that it's completely different than the rest of the text, that's letting us know that this is an important line to the speaker. Okay. Then in line 14 through 15, we've got here, mama sneezed when she looked behind the camera. The snapshots are blurry. So that's letting us know that mama's the one that normally had the blurry shots. And that when we look at 17, it says, how can I tell? Well, it says, but we had fun when mama picked up the camera. So that is one of those that I can see that mom's the one who did a lot of the photos, because it seems that in most of their photos, they look like they all are having fun. Okay. And then my next question is, what does the speaker seem to like best about the family photographs? Any clue? Well, the speaker enjoys remembering the fun the family was having when each picture was snapped. He also sees the humor in his mother's ability to take good photos. So there's also the theory that part of what's going on with this is that this mimics a lot of fun they were having. So the mom's got fun photos. Maybe she didn't mess up on accident. Maybe she did it on purpose. So that way they didn't take themselves too seriously, even in pictures. It's just a thought. Some kids brought that up last year. So, number 1, hopefully you wrote all your stuff at the top of your page again, analyzing the structure of a poem, the fact that you've got to break it apart. You are looking to see if it's built, if it is free verse, or if it's got repetition, and we're looking to see if it's got lines and stanzas. Okay. So use the hint on this page to help you answer the question. Eliminate answer choices that misinterpret the poet's use of structure. So question 1 says, how does, and I'm going to come down here, how does the structure the poet uses help add meaning to the text? Well, we already said that my structure, remember, how is it written? Is it have a rhyme scheme or free verse? You're right, it's free verse. There is no rhyme scheme, okay? So that is what I'm trying to make sure that I'm dealing with when my answer choices is dealing with that free verse. Okay, no rhyme. And I'm not even going to try to keep typewriting with the pad of this mouse. So A says the use of the rooster imagery suggests the speaker lives on a farm. Well, is that the reason we're using free verse? That's just one line of dealing with the rooster. Okay. So it's because it says this is the pond and these are my feet. This is a rooster, and this is more of my feet. Okay, so we're at a pond. It doesn't necessarily mean they're at their house. B says the free form lines mirror the speaker's fun and lighthearted tone. Well, it does have the words free form lines, and the tone is fun and lighthearted. Okay, so let's go. The italicized sentence shows the speaker's anger at the mother. Well, I don't think that he was angry with his mom. He never sounds angry with mom anywhere in the poem. So that can't be right. And D says the rhyme scheme mirrors the turning. Oh, wait, I can click that off because there is no what? You're right, there is no rhyme scheme, which means my only answer choice I have left is B. Because free verse, free form lines are being much more conversational and much more laid back than typical structured poetry that has very formal way of speaking and using things. Now, they do use a lot of alliteration to help create unity within the ode, but not structure wise. Okay. So, and hopefully you got that tone was very lighthearted and fun and joyful. And those were all good memories. And that our speaker is, is looking at pictures of his family. All right. Well, I accidentally gave you the answer to number 2. So, how do the speaker's feelings become clearer in the last stanza of this poem? Well, let's make sure we got it right. So, just because I circled that doesn't mean it's right. So, we're looking at the speaker's feelings become clear. So, we're looking at that last stanza, that stanza number 8. But we had fun when Mama picked up the camera. How can I tell? Each of us laughed hard. Can you see? I have candy in my mouth. Okay. So he's laughing so hard you can see that he's laughing so hard his mouth's open, you can see the candy. So the speaker wishes his mother had been a better well, he's laughing and having a good time. That's not going to be there. The speaker regrets. Doesn't seem like he's got a regret. It looks like he's enjoying those memories. C says the speaker reveals that he does seem to like his mother's photography because they're all laughing and having a good time. And D says the speaker is upset. He doesn't seem upset if they're laughing and having a good time, which means my answer is going to be C. And y'all already got that because I forgot to animate my slide. All right, and for our last question, this poem explores a relationship between photographs and memories. Write a paragraph that describes how the structure of the poem helps to support this relationship. Use at least 3 details from the text to support your response. And yes, I'm going to make you type this and turn it in so I can read it. So let's break down our writing prompt to make sure that you can write it correctly. So we want to make sure that we include words poem explores a relationship between. So mine, if I were going to start this, I might start it with, instead of the word the poem, I might write Ode to Family Photographs by Gary Soto explores a relationship between photographs and memories. And then my next sentence would probably start with the structure of the poem helps to explore this relationship. Well, we just said what my structure was, right? Because remember, you can only have 2 things for structure right now. I'm talking about rhyme scheme and free verse. And when we look back at question 1 and 2, it helps us break down how the relationship is working together. So, and if you also get stuck, you come over here and you look at your hint, and it says about the speaker's actions and feelings, okay? Through and look at what's repeating and look at the lengths of the stanzas, okay? So I'm going to let you go ahead and get that done. Oh, I have a couple other things. Hold on. So I underlined, what else did I underline? Memories, things that you might want to make sure to include in your paragraph. So I hope that I've helped you get a good start on it, and good luck. And I'm assuming that you've submitted it, and now that you've turned it in, I want to make sure you see mine. Now, granted, mine is not the only way this answer can be given. Okay, it's just one of many ways. All right. So mine, Miss Murray says, Ode to Family Photographs by Gary Soto explores a relationship between photographs and memories. Repetition contributes to this poem's meaning. The Soto repeats "this is" at the beginning of most lines, suggesting what a person might say while flipping through photos. But then the speaker stops looking at the photos and begins thinking about the person who took them, his mother. Suddenly, he seems less hurried and more thoughtful. This switch from action to thought is reflected in the stanzas. Initially, the stanzas are short, but they lengthen as if the speaker, after his hurried beginning, ends up taking the time to linger over the memories those photos evoke. Therefore, the structure of the poem is able to enhance the overall poem's meaning and how much the speaker's mother meant to him. Oh, Miss Murray, you got some typos. This is what happens when you type too fast. I wouldn't even be giving myself a 100, maybe a 90. So that is my answer. Hopefully, as you're writing down, you're correcting my typos and you wrote what I said, not what I wrote. And if you have any questions about this, please make sure you ask us, guys. Okay. Oh, I think I have one more thing that we're going to look at. Yes. So one more thing that we're going to look at is that we've got poetry practice in your thing today, and this one is on the fog. So earlier we did the one on Dreams from Langston Hughes, and this one is on the fog by Carl Sandburg. And I wanted you to see that how a poem can be so short, and it's also from our textbook, our Prentice Hall literature textbook as well, and still have a lot of impact. So poetry practice for today, Fog by Carl Sandburg. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. It's 2 stanzas, 6 lines. Okay. So on your slideshow, you're going to need to fill out who the poet is, who's the speaker. Is there a rhyme scheme? What do you think the tone is? And to give me an example of personification and explain the example of personification. Not enough just to tell me which line from the poem is the personification, but how is it being used? What does it mean? Why are they doing that? And then you're done with our poetry practice for today. So if you have any questions, shoot us an email, guys. All right. Bye.